Triple Play Fantasy Basketball coming at you with the 2023 Trade Deadline Special, and it's a not fantasy-related episode. Your boy Doc hosting, not James this week, but I'll introduce him first. My co-host for the Fantasy Basketball Waiver Wire Pickup Show just did a great one that you can check out on YouTube. Coach James Lewis, what's going on?
What up? Good to talk to some people, some faces I haven't seen in a while about some NBA trade deadline, and I know it's gonna get heated because every time Brad says something, I always disagree.
That's true. I don't think we agree on much with Brad. But speaking of that, the man that is a newly appointed senior writer at Fantrax. Congratulations, Sir Bradley K.
Appreciate you. Yeah, always check out my NBA props on Fantrax every day. Good to be with you boys again, man. It's been a while since we talked hoops.
Salute, Brad. That's what's up, man. That's awesome.
Appreciate you, man.
But we got to introduce our guest who stepped on a basketball court beyond the high school level. We welcome in a guy, a friend that played at the University of Maryland, knows a little bit of something about basketball, believe it or not, has his own podcast, Club JG, which you can catch Fridays at 7 on his Instagram Live. Somebody that's still active in the hoops community, goes out to the bars, and then hops on pods the next day. It's our buddy John Graham. What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
So, John, for those that aren't familiar with you, can you give us like a little bit of your journey, just, hoops wise, what basketball has kind of meant to you and everything?
Yeah. So high school, locally, I was Calvert Hall. Shout out to the Cardinals out in Towson. Went to college basketball. Started at Penn State for about 3 years. Ended up transferring, coming back home to University of Maryland, where I finished out my last two. And it's been a couple years over in Spain, Mallorca, to play professionally, and now I'm back.
Well, the one thing that we do have in common is none of us played in the NBA. So I'm just putting that out there. Yep. But we're here today to talk some NBA trade deadline. David Hoppin and the boys. Yeah, David, hop in. Let us know your thoughts on this because we got a good episode talking about the trade deadline. And guys, there's nothing like NBA drama, especially with the trade deadline. You got people asking for trades. You got Jay Crowder tweeting an hourglass emoji and then his odds changing for that. And look, we're recording this January 29th. The trade deadline is February 9th. There's going to be a lot of action. So I want to hop in right away. And John, I want to start with you. What NBA team needs to make a move to contend this year?
The first thought is, and I might be a little biased here, but my team, the Los Angeles Lakers, need to make a trade.
That's the chalk answer. Come on. You're better than this.
Yeah. Look, I'm telling you, like the first thing that comes to mind is them. They got to somehow find a way to ship out Russell Westbrook and bring in Buddy Hield. It's funny that we talked about Miles Turner because he literally openly said he wanted to be a Laker. But now he's recently signed an extension, so that ship is probably look like it's sailed. But we got to find a way to get some more shooting around LeBron and AD. We can't have a bunch of guys like Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley, guys who want to get to the basket, put the ball on the floor, but we need spacing. And I think Russell Westbrook somehow, some way, needs to find a way to get out of LA.
I mean, what's it gonna take for Buddy? Or because if it's straight Buddy. And you have those 2 first-round picks. You're definitely not giving up both of those.
The hard part with Westbrook is just the contract. Like a lot of teams aren't willing to take on like the massive contract that he has right now, and that's really what's been that's been the hurdle, and that's been the wall that's kind of blocking everything right now.
JG, we welcome in. We're a Lakers family. Swell, bro. I mean, the big thing is going to be the contract. You got to have a team that's probably not contending. I mean, it would be smart for the Pacers to do it if they can get some assets. When we look on here, Russell Westbrook's odds to get traded are plus 220, so not nearly as juicy when you look at this screen here. It's probably third to last. But I agree. Like the Lakers, they're not going to win with the roster they have now. Even if everybody's healthy, they just can't contend in a 7-game series.
They looked great last night against Boston. They should have won that game.
They got robbed.
They did get robbed.
LeBron definitely got fouled at the end. But
why do we have instant replay if we can't look at something that actually determined the game?
James, JG, let me ask you guys this. So I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan. Always have been, always will be. He's kind of settled into that 6-man role, and he's playing great off the bench. Do you guys still feel like you need to come off of his contract like you did earlier in the season, or have you settled into liking how this team looks?
He's got to go.
He's gotta
At the
go.
end of the day, in the playoffs, you play 5 guys, and yeah, he's blossoming in a six-man role, but you'll get exposed for that non-shooting, and
I hear you.
it's since day one it has not been a great fit with LeBron James. So if you can move him for shooting, whether it be Buddy Hield or I'm looking at somebody else in Chicago,
I have that too.
if you can somehow find a way to steal Zach LaVine, I mean, you're going to have to give up both of your first rounds, but you send Russell over there. You get a bona fide star who's a complimentary piece. We've seen what he did for Team USA, kind of being that glue guy. He's bouncy, and obviously he has LA ties. I think it's a great fit with LeBron James.
Would Indiana go first in Reeves, no Westbrook for Hield? I don't think so. I don't think
Contracts
Indiana
don't
wouldn't
match
take
up.
that.
No,
I don't think so.
And
All right, James, going to you
though.
though. Is that your team? I mean, the Bulls aren't contending this year, but are you going with the Lakers also, a team that needs to make a move?
I mean, yeah, like the way the level LeBron is playing at, he's going to be all NBA again. He hasn't skipped a beat. He's averaging 30 a game. Like, we all see it. He's playing stellar basketball, and the window is short. The team that I'm actually looking at, and we know we have Jay Crowder, who hasn't played a single minute here, is the Suns, because their window is very, very short with Chris Paul. They got to make a move. So the Lakers, yes, I think about them, but I think about the Suns. I mean, they were just in the Western Conference, or they just won the Western Conference a couple years ago. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, like, we have to make a move like right now. They're a win now, and I mean, I don't think they'll win even if they make a move, but they have to at least try.
I agree, and I think new ownership kind of throws a wrinkle in it. Like, we obviously see the product that's put on the court, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Sarver selling the team. It's a mess in Phoenix. It's kind of been a crazy organization over the years. Brad, I'm interested to hear where you're going. You got a different team than Phoenix or the Lakers?
I do. I'm going to go with the 3rd seed in the West right now. So the Kings, to me, they're fake contenders because they're 3rd in the league in offensive rating, which is how they got to where they are now. But they're 26th in the league in defense. They need to make some moves for some wing defenders because when the playoffs come, if you can't get a stop, you can't win. And the way that they're playing, they're allowing like 110, 115, 120 every single night. It's just not going to fly in the playoffs. I'm really impressed with how far they've come and the job that our what's his name?
Mike Brown.
His name. Yeah, Mike Brown. Our job that Mike Brown's been doing. But
shout out Kevin Herter.
Shout out Kevin Herter, former
headband Kev.
Yep.
He's killing it right now. But yeah, they just need some wing defense, and I got to trade for them later.
Brad, they haven't made the playoffs since 2010. All right, this is baby steps. We're not talking about them contending this year. All right, them getting in the playoffs and hosting a home game would be considered success for them.
3rd seed in the West, that's real. Like that's,
the beam.
You have to actually. It doesn't matter that they haven't been there. They're there right now. They got to make moves. They gotta act like they're the contenders that they are currently.
It's crazy. We were trashing them last year for trading Halliburton, and it shows that they know probably better than we do.
Yep.
For me, I'm going with the Miami Heat, and I'm trying to pick different answers here. So the Miami Heat, I'll say, have been a team that's never had to go through a true rebuild. Even when they lost LeBron, they've drafted really well. Pat Riley has been really good in flipping assets. But you look at the salary cap that they have tied up. Jimmy Butler is making a crazy amount, 37 this year, 45 mil next year, 48, and then 52 mil. Bam Adebayo is on a max contract extension. Tyler Hero signed a max that kicks in next year. Duncan Robinson's making 18, 19 million a year. Kyle Lowry, 29 mil. Like, this is the team that went to Game 7 last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think the one thing that Pat Riley hasn't done is he doesn't give up assets. And I think with the contracts you have now, you have to make a move. I don't think there's a guaranteed team to come out of the East. I think the Heat can play anyone tough in a 7-game series. So I think they have to make a move this year. I think, forgo some draft picks. I know they've been trying to move Duncan Robinson. I don't think anybody's going to take that salary cap.
What's your move to get them
I would have said Miles Turner. I mean, I think Miles Turner was
that's done. So you got to think about somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, we can dive into that a little bit later, but I just think Miami has to make a move. We got Sports Wikipedia checking in. What's up?
I think about Dallas. as well. This is not a title contending team with who they have, and then Cleveland is damn good, but you would want them to have a starting caliber small forward that can shoot.
I don't think
I look at
Cleveland needs to
Dallas.
contend this year. I don't think they need to.
Dallas needs to move during the trade deadline because like Luka, you can see it.
Yeah,
they need a second guy with Luka Doncic. They thought Porzingis would be that guy. That ended up not working out. They were supposed to be Nash and Dirk 2.0. Everyone was saying that obviously didn't work out. But now we see they have a bunch of guys that can play. Like Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a guy that can play.
Yeah.
He can give you a bucket or two, but he's not the second star that you need for Luka Doncic in order for Dallas to actually start ascending. Right now, look, these are probably like Luka's still a young player, but these are great years that he's kind of. I don't want to use the word wasting, but these years are kind of starting to go by now, and it's like we want to see Luka starting to advance deeper in the playoffs. Or Dallas is going to be like another. There'll be a 4 or 5 seed in the West, probably have an early first round exit every single year. We want to see
Luka like Dallas. To me, Dallas is like the same as Houston was with James Harden. Like as long as Luka,
thank you, Brad.
As long as Luka's getting like 35% usage every night and he's your entire offense, as slow as they play, no defense, like I just don't ever see them winning a championship.
I don't think you can have a second guy that goes along with that usage rate unless it's somebody that like strictly plays defense or is like you can't have a second star when you have someone that has that high of a usage rate.
It's just not going to work.
That's fair. I mean, they got to change, or it's just going to be first round exits every year.
I mean, they need to just surround him with a bunch of defensive guys.
It was Brunson. Brunson was this, and then if you had him and Christian Wood, what they have now, then like your eyes really pop out. But they lost him for nothing.
They did.
But that's a team that was just in the Western Conference Finals. So I think they do need to find a way somehow, because the worst thing in their franchise would be Luka walking away in a couple years.
They ain't walking away. They're getting some value for him, or they're signing him to the richest contract ever. Cleveland, Rick thinks is finals bound. So I want to flip it. We're talking about teams that need to make a move. And James, I want to start with you on this. What NBA teams should be sellers ahead of the deadline?
Sellers, I think the obvious one is the Jazz. So I'm just gonna go with Toronto.
Was it obvious? That's my pick.
I mean,
you tell me. You tell me.
I mean, don't pick up the phone with Danny Ainge, but I think Toronto it would be the one that's like they've been in the playoffs for the last 15 years, and they're 23-28, and this puzzle piece isn't working. The Barnes, Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., who has an expiring, like they got to make a move. Fred VanVleet's been in talks, so I think they should be sellers and then just try to build around Barnes. And I wouldn't sell on Siakam, but you could probably get a really good return for an OG. You can get something for Gary Trent. You can get something for VanVleet. Who knows? VanVleet and Gary Trent to the Lakers is in play. I mean, those are two shooters. Like you can get something. You can get some first round picks.
When we look at the odds on here, and you can check this out on our YouTube channel, Gary Trent is -200 to get traded. Those are the third best odds. Fred VanVleet is -150.
Everybody needs shooting.
+200, and Pascal Siakam is +400. Now, I didn't look at this ahead of time, but I can't imagine any other team has 4 people on there. So I do think that signals that Toronto might make some moves. And the thing with Masai Ujiri is he's not afraid to make big moves that alter the franchise. John, I'm going to go to you next. Which team do you think needs to sell before deadline?
I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets. Actually, I've been taking a look at them. It's like, look. They have the scoring with KD and Kyrie. They have enough scoring on offense, but I think the Achilles heel for Brooklyn is their front court depth. Nick Claxton has come on a lot better this year than any of us have ever seen. But they still need to have depth at that position. Say he gets in foul trouble or he gets injured. Now they have first round pick Day'Ron Sharpe there, but he hasn't panned out like they would hope. So I think that they should be sellers, maybe starting with him to kind of like get some draft capital for him and see if they can get a serviceable big to be a backup, because in the playoffs, teams are going to attack the inside with them. That's their Achilles heel. So I think that the more depth they have at that position in the front court, I think will just be the last little puzzle piece for them to get to the NBA Finals and actually win it.
That's interesting. I was not expecting you to go that route.
Well, it sounds like they're buying in to try to get a big, which they desperately need.
How great has Claxton been, though?
Yeah,
No, Clax has been great. Like I think he's going to be what
He could be the decoy.
He's been a great rim protector. He's been a great lob threat. But again, like that can't be your only option in the front court.
And he
You're not
can't.
going to ask Kevin Durant at this point in his career to play some 5 at the center position. That's asinine in my opinion because you need him out there for scoring. But
and as good as
you have also
Claxton,
great defense in the interior.
as good as Claxton's been, getting blocks and getting stats, when it comes playoff time, he's not going to be in there banging bodies with Embiid and Horford and like all those bulky fives that.
But they're asking to do that. Hence why you need
Exactly.
like more bigs to do that.
Exactly. I like
They
that.
need to bring back a bruiser like Sam Dallenberg. Just bring him off the streets to bang some bodies in the post.
I haven't heard that name in like 15 years.
Yeah,
Jakob Poeltl's
Wizards are a seller. I'd love that, but the Wizards, we don't tank under Danny Ainge. And by the way, this is a
Got the Rui jersey.
This is a Rui jersey, and the funny thing is, the tag is still on. I never wore this, and now it's useless. Might as well donate it to Goodwill at this point. And Rigged agrees, Sharp for Brooklyn, but it seems like he's sliding off. How about Drummond joining Brooklyn?
That's a
Best
great
rebound of
great
all
idea.
time.
They shouldn't let him go. Go get him back. What is he in Chicago now? Andre Drummond?
He's 29 years old.
No. Your answer is not Andre Drummond, who's going to get played off the court in the playoffs. Stop it.
I understand.
We've seen this before.
He's not great in pick and roll defense. You can easily attack him, but I'm trying to think like who else is really out there that we can get like as a serviceable big. Blake Griffin was there. He did all right. You think Jakob?
Yeah, I threw out Jakob.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
I like him especially
he's better than Drummond.
Like 20 minutes a game.
That's a solid answer. He can defend. Like the key for the Nets is you need a big that can guard and pick and roll. Nick Claxton's gotten better.
What about Mason Plumlee?
Mason Plumlee's a good one too. I think
Charlotte's not letting him go.
Ideally, you want a big that is built bulky and then also can stretch the floor. Those things are very rare, but you can't play Claxton and Simmons together like down the stretch. You can't have two people that only shoot layups or dunks, which both of them have only shot.
Both not great free throw shooters either. That's the other thing. That's going to be a problem like down the stretch, if they keep them both on the floor.
So, Brad,
I actually got a name.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, all right. So the name that I'm choosing is actually the answer to the question you're asking, Doc. So who should be sellers? So I know he hasn't played, but to me, the easy choice is Minnesota. They're 1 game over 500 without Cat, and currently they seed. But even with him, the team didn't have to be, they weren't really meshing. Cat and Ant had that weird chemistry. I don't know if y'all remember that story where Cat was criticizing Ant's diet and work ethic.
I do.
I think you could get a haul for Cat. So why not rebuild around Ant? Get a bunch of first round picks, a couple pieces. You might even get a lottery pick, which could turn into Wembanyama. Like I think you should.
That's not a bad call. That is not.
I've been saying that they needed to trade Cat for a while.
Imagine what the Nets would look like with Cat.
Don't they have to wait till the summer because of his max? Because him signing the contract so recently, I think they have to wait till the summer before they can move him. I think that's what's in play. But going towards the future, like, yeah, the Gobert and Cat thing. I mean, we have a small sample size, but that is not going to work.
I thought it would work because Cat gets in foul trouble more than any big in the NBA. Like he wants to play more on the perimeter as opposed to the post. So I thought Gobert in there would be good for him because now he can play that true power forward, stretch forward position where he can step out, shoot threes, let Gobert handle all the dirty work inside. But surprisingly, I've been watching, like, it just hasn't been like what we thought it would be. It's kind of the same old story. Minnesota's like barely getting into the playoffs. D'Angelo Russell's been so. I think he wants out too. So I think.
Oh, he definitely wants out.
There's a couple of things with Minnesota, man. But my biggest surprise is definitely Gobert and Cat not meshing because Cat just can't play defense without foul. So I thought Gobert would help him out with that.
Cat's a good stat sheet stuffer. I think there's an element of kind of that teamwork missing from his game. I want to touch on this point that Sports Wikipedia made because I wanted to get it. Lauri Markkanen is the most improved player. He is the betting odds favorite. I think we can all agree probably most improved, right?
Absolutely.
So that brings me into Utah being the big sellers, and James alluded to it earlier. So they've already passed their season projected win total that Vegas gave them. I think it was at 22.5. Now with Utah, though, they're tanking. They're rebuilding. There's no point in them contending this year. They're trying to get Victor Wembanyama. Can you imagine a front court with him, Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen? I think Markkanen and Kessler are the only ones that are untouchable on this team, right?
Utah's
They
in the
would-
playoffs right now.
Yeah, they're the
Yeah,
10th
but they're
seed.
not going to contend this year. That wasn't the point that they wanted to contend.
But they
this
can't
year.
have a record. Like they're gonna have like a 2% chance, even if they're
Yeah,
in
like, they're
the
not
lottery.
gonna have
That's
to
why
get
they
to
have to
Wemby.
start selling. Get rid of Mike Conley. Get rid of Colin Sexton. Get rid of Malik Beasley. Get rid of Jordan Clarkson. That's 4 guards that are clogging, roster spots that you could get a first or second round pick for. And kind of like Oklahoma City's doing, where they're stockpiling picks. Like if Utah doesn't get a top pick and they want to trade up, and they have all of these first and second rounds, they can do that. There's teams that have mortgaged their future, and then there are teams that are hoarding assets. And there's kind of that equilibrium in the middle. So Utah's
The
not
Lakers-
contending this year.
The Lakers could use Malik Beasley for sure.
They could.
They could use a lot of guys on that team. They could use Mike Conley.
Yeah,
How about
Yeah.
Mike Conley instead of Russell Westbrook with LeBron?
that's a
I
great
like that a
point.
whole lot better.
That's a
do
great
too.
point.
I do too. I
'Cause
mean,
Pat Bev and Schroeder have been no good.
Nah,
Jordan
Schroeder's been
Clarkson, too.
damn good.
People-
Pat
So
Beverly
the
should have never
last-
been a
the
Laker.
last
They
week-
gave up Taylor Horton Tucker for Patrick Beverly. Why? That was your last young good player that who could score, and you go get Pat Beverly for it. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Lakers need to. Rigg says the Lakers need to sell 1 first for Clarkson. He's the guy the Lakers need in the playoffs. Stout player.
Yes.
So, but he does not. But he does not want Malik Beasley. So. I mean,
can
and that's the
respect
thing
that.
about playoffs. You need people that can score. And as much as I hate Jordan Clarkson because he didn't pass the damn ball at all, he can get you a bucket off the bench.
That's what he does. He comes in to score. He ain't out there to pass.
He's passing this year.
Do what got you there. Do what got you there. Get buckets.
I completely agree. Completely agree. So, next thing we're going to talk about is who's a player that's not headlined in trade rumors that could be dealt, or any all-star you think that might be on the move. And Brad, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Yeah, we talked about him earlier. James hit it on the head. I think Zach LaVine gets dealt. So the Bulls are 4 games below 500. And earlier in the year, he was getting benched in the 4th quarter of games. So I know he doesn't like the coach. And just the other day, I saw a story saying the Bulls would accept Westbrook and 2 first-rounders for LaVine. So I don't know if that gets leaked if it weren't true. I think the Lakers are hesitant to pull the trigger because Russ is playing well right now. And I think Darvin Ham really likes it. But with Pat Bev and Schroeder kind of being unreliable, I think LaVine would be an incredible addition for them.
Zach LaVine is plus 150 odds to get traded. That is the highest of any Bulls player on there. So, I mean, that could be true. And the odds have been getting better on that. James, I'm going to go to you next. Have we talked about somebody that you think, or you got a surprise player for us?
So somebody that haven't been talked about, but I think that they could be moving on from him. I think Atlanta wants to shake something up, and it's not John Collins, it's Clint Capella. I think Okongwu is the future. I think he's the better player when it comes to like being able to be switchability in the winning time and in the playoffs. And I think he needs to like grab that bull by the horns, and they should move off from Capella and see what they can get.
What would you give for Capella?
What would I get?
All right, let me rephrase that differently. What's the top offer you think they can get for Capella?
Maybe a first rounder
Yeah,
from like a playoff team.
I wouldn't give a
I wouldn't give up a first round for that. Second round, sure, but
might give like 2 seconds.
Not a first round.
Well, then
You gotta take the
an
contract.
asset, another like a player.
He's been injured. He's been injured the past couple of years, so it's like the durability becomes a question mark. So why would I want to mortgage a first rounder on a guy who I'm not sure is going to be there?
Right.
He was completely spoon fed with Harden. Like it's spoon fed with Harden and spoon fed with Trae Young. Like all of his stats pretty much come from having great point guards around him. He's a great rebounder, but I'm not paying all that for a great rebounder.
You'd pay that for Andre Drummond, though. JG, I'm going to you. Have we brought up a star, or you got a mystery name for us?
I'm gonna bring up a name that a lot of people have probably forgotten about. He's sitting in Houston right now, and we haven't seen a lot of him because Houston is just kind of stashing him away. Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him on the floor much because I think Houston is trying to work out a deal to get him out on the contending team. And look, this guy can put up numbers, as we know. He's great. He's a great shooter. You get him in the right system. Hey, Lakers, Nets. Really, Eric Gordon could make any of these top contending teams into a championship caliber team. So if I say like any in the top teams in the West, like what we got Memphis, who else is at the top right now? I'm trying to think. Denver. Any of those top contending teams in both East and West could use an Eric Gordon. I think he is a key that can get a team to a championship.
I like that. Eric Gordon has minus 200 odds to get traded. It's funny, they brought up something earlier this year, and they said, where have the Rockets improved from last year? And he said, we haven't. And, James and I were talking about this previously, is Houston held on to Eric Gordon way too long. They should have traded him a couple of years ago, and they could have gotten more value for him.
It's a lot like what's going on with what went on with John Wall while he was in Houston. Like they kind of they held on to him and like just they had him not play so he wouldn't get injured or anything like that, and just find a way to trade him. That worked out with him going to the Clippers, but we'll see what goes on with Gordon. But I'm hopeful that he gets traded this year because he only has so many good years left. But great shooter, great player overall. Can definitely be a
Pelicans could use him.
Yeah,
just need to get healthy.
Yeah.
I like him for the Suns. Some security with Chris Paul and D-Book. He provides some playmaking. He shoots well. He can also play with them.
Not crazy. I saw CP3 in trade rumors.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah,
They're
rumors.
I think he wants to end it. I think he wants to end his career with Phoenix. Playing with Monty Williams and D-Book, and it's been an awesome situation for him. Like he's totally turned that franchise around from where they were before they got him.
But every time the playoffs comes around, man, he's either getting hurt or just playing bad.
Yeah,
he's having his worst shooting season since his rookie season.
Yeah,
there's some type of drop off going on this year, and I don't know if it's injury related or the fact that he's just longevity. He's getting old, but he's having his worst percentages.
Nah, I agree with you guys. I want to save my better answer for the next segment. So for this, I'm going to go with D'Angelo Russell. I think it's never been a fit. Minnesota traded for him because Cat was a big advocate, but that's once again before they got Anthony Edwards. He's somebody that I think teams could use a lefty specialist if they're contending, and maybe the Wolves would have to eat a lot of that contract, but it's just not working out in Minnesota. And Anthony Edwards is the future. Surround him with guys that are going to make him better because you're going to have to pay him at some point, and you want him to be happy and you want him to develop and to continue growing his game. And I think D'Lo is only going to stun him.
D'Lo for Lowry.
I mean, I would do it.
That would actually be a nice fit for both teams. I think
it makes sense.
It would.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry is a true point guard. He's going to make Anthony Edwards better. He's going to give him the ball. He's going to let him like you do the scoring. I'll take care of the defense and the playmaking. That's what Kyle Lowry is.
And for that locker room to hear his voice to like really, get Anthony Edwards his head in the right headspace as opposed to D Russell, and then maybe Russell in Miami with that culture that could help unlock him because we all know that he has the tools.
So guys, I want to go into the final segment as we're getting close to the 30-minute mark. And talking about a trade that you would like to see happen, a team and player, and why it makes sense for both parties. And this is why I gave a lousy answer with D'Lo, but it actually turned out to be better than I thought. And tell me who's going to say no to this trade. DeMar DeRozan to the Grizzlies for Desmond Bane and 2 firsts. So
what?
Chicago's obviously rebuilding. What?
Bane?
Memphis says no.
I don't give up any.
No? Memphis
loves Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane's incredible. And he's
wild. That is wild, Eric.
Can I finish or no?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Desmond Bane has been a little bit injury prone to begin his career, right?
Okay.
All right, Memphis. If you're going all in right now with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., we'll say Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, they need a little bit more of scoring offense. Like I love Ja, but do I trust him to take the last shot? No. DeMar DeRozan, outside Damian Lillard, might be the clutchest player in the NBA and somebody that you want to take the final shot. I think that's a huge upgrade. I think the West is wide open right now. If you're the Bulls, you can get some value in return. Desmond Bane's a good young player. You get 2 draft picks. But if you're Memphis, this is the all-in move right here. You're trading for a bona fide star, a borderline superstar. I mean, can we agree DeMar DeRozan is an improvement for Desmond Bane in the next 1 to 2 years?
No.
If this was Kevin Durant, I would say absolutely. And there was a time where KD to the Grizzlies was actually kind of a possibility. With DeMar DeRozan, you're taking away shooting, which then takes away spacing for Ja Morant.
Yes.
What's his strength? Getting to the basket and dunking on people, making plays in the paint. You added DeRozan out there. That's going to shrink the floor for Ja. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to have like more defenders to be able to help all because DeRozan's DeRozan can shoot a three, but he's not known as a shooter. They're going to dare him to shoot the three before he gets to his mid range. So
That would- that would be a biggest
think
fleece ever.
to ascend.
Eric, I see the vision, but this is
AG. DeMar DeRozan shot 5 of 5 from 3 yesterday. He said,
Is that going to happen
Eric.
consistently?
All right,
He's
Eric.
a career plus 40% from 3. He's one of the best
I gotta
shooters
pull-
on the face of earth.
James. I got it pulled up right now. So Desmond Bane shoots 46%, he shoots 43% for his career from 3.
My bad.
Like that's incredible. He's a
No, man,
24-year-old.
You can't let that go. You can't let that go.
24-year-old,
It's just
24-year-old, 6'5", averaging 21, 5, and 4.
0.6. Come
Like
on,
you're not trading that.
no one.
Five
You don't.
shooter. Like he's everything that the Memphis Grizzlies need.
He's untouchable. Triple J is untouchable, and Morant. That's the core. But I think that there is something that could lie in. Like you got to get rid of like Brooks. If you can get, Brooks, you send those first round capital and you try to get somebody from Toronto.
Why would you want to shit about Dylan Brooks?
Because he shoots more shots than Morant in the playoffs, and he doesn't make
he's been
anything.
terrible.
Like, yeah, he's a good defensive player, but like, okay, OJ Anunoby is an upgrade from that. You send Dylan Brooks and some of that draft capital that you got in your trades, and you get OG instead, who is a better 3-point shooter and somebody that plays his role a little bit better, and there's no drop off on defense with OG.
I keep Dylan Brooks because of his upside, but I'll admit with James, he's been terrible this year. He's shooting like 10 threes a game and missing.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. That's not a bad
Marty,
call.
my guy. I love Doc looking up stats as someone argues with him. That's what I do. And I mean, here's the thing: if you're Memphis, you're going to have to pay Desmond Bane a lot of money, and you're already locked up into Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant, so you might not be able to pay him what he wants.
You think
That's
you
why
can
you
pay
can-
DeMar DeRozan?
Well, that's why the window's
DeMar-
right now. Like they have a window right now. The number one in the West. Like you go,
You know
get
what?
somebody that
Memphis,
can win.
Use
when
that
Memphis
window.
gets bounced in the second round and they don't have someone to take that last shot, y'all will get a nice little text from me, and I'll
Desmond
say,
Bane.
"Howdy."
Desmond
If
Bane
they
Howdy,
don't run into
fellas.
the Warriors, if they
Last
don't run
shot.
into the Warriors or whoever's like top in the West right now, they will go to the Western Conference Finals. And I think against New Orleans.
You think okay? So Memphis going to the Western Conference Finals, huh?
I think they will. It
least-
depends on the matchup. Now, let's say the
No,
Warriors.
no, no,
let's say
no,
the
don't
Warriors
give me
finish like
that.
as-
Don't
let's
give me
say the
that.
Warriors finish like as an 8th
Don't
or
give me
7th
that.
seed, right? If they
AG.
finish to an 8th, 7th seed
AG.
in Memphis and Golden State, okay, they might be in trouble. But
I think they even have a chance against Golden State.
JG,
I mean,
good
Morant
teams don't
Morant
care
did
about
get
their matchups.
Morant
I
did
think
they
get
go to the
hurt.
Western Conference Finals?
That's a huge deal. Absolutely. a huge
Are they
deal.
going to the Western Conference Finals?
It depends on the matchup, who they run into.
Shoot,
Nah, you
Morant
know
put
what?
50 on the Warriors in that game 1, and then he
Right.
got
He
hurt.
did.
Like, let's not forget he was hurt,
They
and
weren't-
that's
they weren't
had a
beating-
big
they weren't
deal
beating
with
Golden
them
State,
losing.
no matter what. They weren't beating.
JG, I'm shaking my head at you. You got to give me a yes or no answer. They making their stand with conviction.
I reserve my right to change my pick, but as of right now, I say Memphis goes to the Western Conference Finals.
You know
So, like
what? We should
Stephen
get
A.
you on ESPN. You're good at politicking like that. I'm glad that I caused all this debate. This is what we want in here.
Eric,
Um,
Eric, I like where your head's at though. They do need a vet. They need a vet, but I'm not giving up what Bane is and what he could be for DeRozan. But they do
fair.
need a vet.
That's fair. All right, Brad. I'm gonna go to you next. What's the trade you want to see? Let's get a little more arguing before we get out of here.
I don't think anybody's going to argue with this. I'd love to see OG Anunoby to the Kings. I think he could be the missing piece to make the Kings a real contender. He can score. He plays with pace, so he fits the Kings' identity. But he's also extremely solid wing defender, which they don't have right now. I would love to see him eat those Harrison Barnes minutes and have Monk and Barnes in the second unit. I think that would be a crazy team. But OG fits with anybody. He's just a great player.
Brad, you
Asking
still hate
questions.
Harrison Barnes? I
I don't-
remember we got heated. We
I
got
don't
heated.
hate Harrison Barnes, but I don't think he's better than OG. And I don't think you do either.
I
If
think
they
the
could
argument.
swing that trade.
I actually like that trade, that hypothetical. I love Harrison Barnes, but obviously OG is an upgrade.
Yeah.
But Harrison Barnes is a lot better than, say, to me, a Dylan Brooks, just because of his efficiency
interesting.
offensively.
I might agree
Great.
with you. That's at least this year. I agree with you.
All right, JG to you, so I can trash your trade take. Let's hear it.
I want to see Bradley Beal get traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly, and Lonnie Walker.
These Lakers fans, man, they're out of control.
And 2 first-round picks because it's
Yeah, you
gonna
might as well
take
throw
that.
those two picks in there as well. Look,
I mean,
Bradley
I
Beal,
wish I could disagree. I'd love that.
LeBron needs a guy on the wing he can depend on who's not Anthony Davis. We know Anthony Davis is not able to stay on the floor, unfortunately, it was just the injury concerns. LeBron needs a number 2 that can take some of the pressure off of this guy who in his 20th season is playing absolutely incredible. I think it's out of control what his usage rate is at this point in his career, even though he's responded well. He's averaging 30-something points the past month or whatever.
It's been incredible.
They need someone to take a little bit of pressure off of LeBron and handle some of that scoring. Bradley Beal's the guy. This obviously isn't going to happen, but if in my fantasy world, I would want to be doing the Lakers and have Russell Westbrook go back to DC, where honestly he was at his best.
I like what Rigged is saying here. What do you think about that, JG?
Why Bill if Hield is much cheaper? I mean, hey, look, this is my fantasy world trade. Look, Bradley Hield is more so realistic, and would help a lot. But if I had it my way and I could make that deal, I'm getting Bradley Beal.
I hear you.
I as a Wizards fan, I literally made a video on our YouTube years ago and said trade Bradley Beal, and Wizards just still haven't done it. It goes to Ted Leonsis, man.
He doesn't want. I don't think he wants to leave. I think he has a no trade clause in his contract. No,
He does. That's tricky.
Yeah.
Hey,
Look, if we could get that contract off the books, hell yeah.
251
Throw Kyle Kuzma in there. Kuzma want to go back to LA anyway.
No.
You telling me that man wasn't jealous when we found out Rui was going to LA from DC? He was like, "Enjoy LA, you'll love it." Like, he's saying this with a hint of jealousy. Like it should have been me, not you.
I'll tell you what though. Where would y'all like to see Porzingis?
I don't know.
He's having a great year.
Who's taking him? I don't know.
I think Porzingis should stay where he is. Like it just
he's revived his
offensive talent, but it's like, is it really going to help you win a championship right now?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Nah, but the Wizards are mediocrity and they're playing for playing. Like they just want to get in, and if those 3 guys stay relevant. If those 3 guys stay healthy, that it happens. I think Kuzma's due for a contract in Washington. I don't see them making any moves around those 3 players, but in a perfect world, yeah, Bradley Beal to LA would be beautiful.
I would love Kyle Kuzma to stay in DC like 3 year, $100 million. Like give him 33 mil a year, but just short term.
He's getting the max.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it.
And I'm fine having Kuzma in Washington. I'm a Wizards fan. I like Kuzma a lot. I think he's showing the role that we always thought he should have had. He had to take a back seat to LeBron in LA. But him having this volume shooter role where he's just getting boards, running the floor, shooting open threes, I think that really suits him.
I'm sure the Lakers would love to have him back because they would let him do his thing, which they need.
We gotta get
Pelinka. Every player that we let go because of LeBron has flourished. Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson, Kuzma. I know Lonzo's hurt right now, but
that needed to happen though. I know that
they leave LA. Now it's like, it'd be nice to have him right now.
At the end
Ingram,
of the day,
Ball, that all needed to happen to get Anthony Davis to win the championship, though. The second part of it, which was the second part of it, which was the Westbrook thing, which sent Kuzma and KCP, that was the mistake. That was a problem. They should have got Buddy because Buddy was on the.
I screamed at everyone saying, "No, don't do this. This is not going to work." Everyone called me crazy when I said this because it's like, "No, it's LeBron James. He'll make it work." I'm telling y'all right now, this is a terrible idea. They're going to regret it, and here we are. And then 1 year later, they're like, "Damn, JG, you was right."
Yeah, Buddy was a perfect fit because he's such a great shooter.
I don't think the Lakers get enough credit for actually winning the championship. Like we all act like they failed.
It's a bubble ring.
That doesn't matter. A ring is a ring. Every trade they made is justified because they won a championship.
Yeah.
Our boy Marty, who does the baseball pop, but good NBA fan also. Can't believe the Wizards gave the no trade clause. I can't believe it either. I don't.
They also gave him $250 million.
I was about to say, why wouldn't they? They want to keep him.
Bradley Beal wanted to get paid. He didn't want to win a championship. You want to get paid. Carmelo
Exactly.
There is something to be a lifer, though.
James, we haven't gone to you. What's a trade you'd like to see happen?
I mean, I think I flirted with it earlier. Like the Levine, I think has a little bit more traction and more believability. I don't see like the Beal thing happening. He's priority number 1 if that is on the table, but I don't see it. That's why like if we can get Levine for the Bulls selling, they get the Westbrook, the contracts match up, and you use the 2 first rounds, which are your assets. Otherwise, like you look for small pieces. So yeah, me and JG, we're focused on the Lakers getting shooting and making some moves. Gary Trent and Van Vliet are like I like them. They're nice fits. Bojan Bojanovic, any like player that is an elite shooter, Buddy Hield, like I would like to add, because like we're swinging for the fence. We're Rui, maybe Rui works out, but they obviously need to make a couple more moves here.
Can I throw out one more ridiculous trade that is definitely not happening, but we be awesome?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
How about Damian Lillard for Klay Thompson?
Oh my God!
What?
I said a ridiculous one that won't happen.
We got to start drug testing for this show.
Dame isn't getting moved anywhere.
The Warriors wouldn't be just as good, if not better, with Dame and Steph.
But
why would Portland do that? JG,
leave
are you still drunk, man? I know we went out of the bars. We had some drinks yesterday. Why would
Portland?
Portland
I'm totally fine. I know what I said.
But why?
Portland ain't going nowhere. Portland's not going anywhere. I remember like the NBA season got started. They won like what? They were like 8-1 to start off. Like, oh look, the Portland Trailblazers are number 1 in the West. Someone tweeted that. I was like, okay, this won't last by the end of the month. Why is this even a tweet? Damian Lillard is wasting his career in Portland. They are not going anywhere. He needs to
accomplished player in Portland history. That would kill the fan base.
Who cares? I want a championship if I'm Damian Lillard. If Damian cares about the fan base, Damian cares about the fan base getting paid, by all means, stay in Portland. But if you want to get a championship, my brother, leave Portland. You are not getting that there.
Gosh, you're making my hairline go back. That's crazy.
He's not. Look, I want Damian Lillard to be in the playoffs and the NBA Finals, man. He deserves at least one NBA Finals.
I'm with you as a fan, but as a front office.
All right, he's retiring. He's going to retire as a Blazer, but they do need to buy some.
Respect to Dame Lillard. He wants to stay in Portland. He wants to bring something there for them. But bro, it's not going to happen. It's just not.
They need to make a move like Nurkic or Grant. Like they need to. Who
are they really going to get? Who wants to go to Portland?
So here's the thing. I'm not against them trading Damian Lillard, but it would have to be for a rebuilding thing. You don't trade it for Klay. You get a haul like Oklahoma City did for Westbrook, and you consult him about it. You don't do it right before the deadline. Who do you guys think the Pistons could get for Saddiq Bey?
Last year they could have got a late first, but this year probably a second.
Yeah.
I just don't see why they're shipping Bey, and why they've lost total belief. I think they need to switch up Dwayne Casey, if anything, because I think
he dropped like 50 in a game last year.
He did. He dropped 50 in the game.
They have a future there in Detroit. I think Cunningham has to stay on the floor now, but they have a future there. I think they should keep Saddiq Bey, not trade.
I think they do too. I don't
get
rid of Bogey. Get rid of Bogey.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing they can do without.
They're gonna get a first for Bogey.
David the casual hopping in, Lillard to Washington. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, right.
You guys are getting Dame dreams, man. He's staying in Portland forever.
Yeah. Dame would love to do that.
Damian does not. I can tell you, Damian doesn't want to join LeBron. He wants to beat LeBron. He's publicly came out and said this, that he does not want to play with LeBron. He wants to beat him. He's
probably put it in one of his rap songs.
Why not go to Golden State? Damian Lillard, Steph Curry. Just imagine.
Bey is the future. Casey needs to go, no doubt. Hey, he was a coach of the year. That's slander right there. And Bey is the future for Detroit. Yeah, I think you hold on to Saddiq Bey.
Any last thoughts when we take a look at the betting lines, because these are clearly the people that are talked about. Cam Reddish is most likely going to be moved. Mike Conley, I think that the point guard position for the Clippers has been murky. John Wall has a minus on the season. It hasn't really worked. Reggie Jackson either. I think Mike Conley helps ride that ship in the Clippers if they can get him. And Mo Bamba's out there. Anybody have any opinions based on the names of the list that we see of the betting odds?
I think Julius Randle getting moved is insane. I can't believe he's even plus 220.
No, he shouldn't be on this list at all.
That's crazy to me.
Bagley's plus 250. That's such an irrelevant name. Eric should have go over the million trade bets he did. I bet Rui Hachimura to get traded, which he did. I bet Cam Reddish, and I
helped you with that one with the Rui.
Oh, thank you, James.
Yeah, you're welcome,
thank
buddy.
You.
I showed him the quotes. He's basically said, "I want to get traded," without saying those words.
Yeah, it wasn't good odds, but a cash is a cash. I want to end this. I didn't put this in the script, so I'm kind of asking on the fly because I want to hear your guys' answers. Give me a memorable trade deadline moment for you.
Pau Gasol to the Lakers, and I'm gonna stick with it. The biggest heist in the history of NBA trades.
They got Marc Gasol. Let's.
I'm saying, but you somehow got Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown and Smush Parker. That was, to this day, I was just sitting there thinking, like, Memphis, thank you, but what the hell is wrong with you? Do you realize what you just did? For my team, you literally like found a way to get us out of a nightmare situation and turn us into a championship caliber team by the trade deadline. It was unbelievable.
That's about as memorable as it gets. I remember in 2004 when Sheed got dealt to Detroit, like after just getting traded to Atlanta. Like,
James, why did you take mine? Why did
you asked the question? My fault. I thought it was up.
I literally have the article pulled up right now. Our guy Pat Benson, who's been on the pod before, Hawks beat writer, wrote an article about it last year about Sheed's one game with Atlanta where he scored 20 points through 3 quarters, then got shipped to Detroit, and obviously they win the title. James, I can't believe that you and I hang out way too much. I can't believe you did that.
I remember that was the first thing because it got him a championship.
Biggest heist, Celtics Knicks trade. Oh, that was bad. 4 first.
Was the Warriors getting Wiggins? Was that at the trade deadline?
No, I think Wiggins signed. I think Wiggins signs a free agent in the offseason.
Free agent? No, he definitely got traded.
No. They were traded for each other. I don't think it was a deadline though.
I don't think it was a deadline either.
No.
But that was bad. I remember thinking that, like, wow, that was a crazy trade. I don't know if it's gonna work, and then it worked.
It did.
Yeah, he had a chance to be Finals MVP of all people. I was just surprised. Like, no, obviously it was Steph, but like he had a shot at being Finals MVP, just being with the consistency. Yeah.
We were judging Wiggins because he was drafted number 1 overall. I mean, he's not a number 1 overall player, but he served a solid career. I think going to Golden State obviously helped revive it. Brad, finish us off here. Memorable trade for you.
Definitely the Pau Gasol. There's no other one to go to there.
I mean, you could have just had a fun one if you wanted. Like, you could have just thrown out a different answer. I'm not really about repetition on this pod, but
Eddie Jones for Glenn Rice. Another Lakers shout out. Glenn Rice was my favorite player growing up. It helped them win their first championship.
Eddie Jones for Glenn Rice.
Yeah. Too many cooks in the kitchen. They had to make room for Kobe. They did. They brought in a shooter like Glenn Rice. G Money was the key to their first championship success.
Yep.
You want to know one that I thought about the other day? The Ray Allen and Gary Payton swap. Ray Allen to Seattle, Gary Payton to the Bucks. I think that was 2002 or 2003. Didn't really materialize for either team, but just kind of an interesting pick or swap when you think about it.
Yeah, no, that was big time.
So, but
Carmelo to the Knicks. He got traded in the deadline.
You remember he was going to go to the Nets originally.
Yeah, they gave up the whole house, and then
he was supposed to be in Miami with the big 3. That was supposed to be the big 3 originally. A lot of people don't talk about that.
Yeah,
it wasn't supposed to be Bosh. It was supposed to be D-Wade, LeBron, and Carmelo.
Yep.
Motivation Academy. We doing stash talks for categories. You can catch our basketball pod that's coming out later today. Me and James got into a little bit there, and he says, "Coach Lewis with you. Glenn Rice is my favorite player." So, guys, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, trade deadline about a week and a half away. So, what trades materialize, what don't. But I want to, give you guys each a chance to plug something. So, Brad, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. I write an article every day for NBA prop bets on fantraxhq.com. Make sure to check that out. And as always, check out our Triple Play Fantasy YouTube channel.
Yeah, Brad said starting February 1st, I'm going to start making YouTube shorts of these prop bets. So I'm holding you to it, Brad. It's now on the lot on airwaves. You can't back out now.
It's going down, man. It's going down.
James, what about you? Anything you want to plug?
Look forward to seeing that, Brad. Just a Triple Play Fantasy. We do this every week. We drop it on Sunday, so you get ready for the week. We talk about games played, people to pick up. I'm also working on my mock draft. That 1.0 drop before the season, but I have some things that I'm fixing around. Yes, Wembanyama is going number 1, But we're talking about everybody else is going to go in the first round, and I do a whole big board. So that's something that I'll be working on and dropping sometime soon with a 2.0.
And it's crazy in his sign off. He didn't talk about Jeremy Sohan once. That's wild. Good for you, James. You're overcoming this. JG, what about you? Anything you want to plug?
Nothing. Just Cash Club JG every Friday night at 7. I'm going to continue with the sports talk. We're going to break down everything we saw from this weekend with the conference championship games and preview the Super Bowl and where we are with the Lakers by trade deadline.
Yeah, and make sure he goes live on Instagram. So obviously make sure you follow him on that platform. What time we doing that video to be on week 16 waiver wire? Check it out. James, you putting it on YouTube soon, right?
Yeah, it's uploaded. I just got to press send after this. It'll be up in the next 30 minutes. Motivation
Academy. Stick on our page. Click that refresh button every 30 seconds. And Rig, appreciate you as always. Fun bunch.
Absolutely.
Always love you, Four stellar analysts. Appreciate you, man.
Love Rig.
We'll try and get back on here soon. Maybe I'll invite JG back after some of these crazy ass takes he has. I can't believe this, man.
Hey, but it was awesome to talk with a former Terp, and I know it's family stills in his blood, and it was really an honor also to kick it with you, John.
Let me tell you,
was all mine, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Shout out Calvert Hall.
Yeah, and make sure you guys follow him on the socials. Hey, JG, please come back very soon. We'll make something work. But everybody that tunes into Triple Play, appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe, like, tell it to your friends, tell it to the strangers you see on the streets. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.